Hey, JJ, I know you're probably more aware than anybody of how well New Orleans has been playing lately. When you have that situation and team's record doesn't show like what they're doing, do you specifically reference that to the team, or is it just in the way that you're breaking down the film and the scouting report? How does that all play out?
Well, our guys are acutely aware of how good Zion is and how good CJ McCollum is and how well Trey Murphy's playing this year. So, I'm sure I mentioned something earlier about they've won 4 of their last 5 and who they beat, but our guys followed the league. So we've had a great stretch here. 3 of those losses were against teams that are struggling. The Spurs loss was obviously Wemby was still in the lineup. So I think we're in a good place where we're all hungry and recognize that this is the stretch run.
You had a number of guys kind of step up and make shots in the absence of Austin and Rui, but just how much do you kind of miss that continually, and do you think it's difficult to keep getting guys to be that efficient as they're stepping up positions?
Yeah, we really would like to be healthy, but we've had so many different guys in and out and lineup iterations and rotation iterations throughout the year that this is just kind of normal at this point. So, I would expect the guys that are in the rotation tonight to be contributors like they have been all season.
I'm not going to go where I went last game, but I do invite you to join me on a crusade as much as ask you a question.
Okay.
LeBron James has scored 99 points in 3 play-in tournament games and 1 in-season tournament championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And those points do not exist in his all-time regular season points total, nor his all-time playoff points total. So had they been applied to either bucket, the guy who's playing
we wouldn't be asking a question about this. You would have asked it
correct
2 or 3 games
there
ago.
You go.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, as someone who cares about the nooks and crannies of the league, what's the NBA doing with those points?
Yeah, you where do you find that on Basketball Reference? Is there a section for it?
I
haven't searched yet.
I didn't look on bench. I had to go back and remember because I covered all those games to find the box scores. Individual searches.
I have a strong feeling towards the play-in tournament that those little one-game scenarios are playoff games. I think it's similar to the NCAA tournament that once they started adding 65, 66, 74, and now 92 teams into the bracket, or whatever it is. What is it now, 68? 68 seems like a lot. Glad they cut it off at 68, God, the snubs. No, I think those games should count for sure in playoffs. In-season tournament, it's a championship game. Maybe it's its own separate thing. In totality, though, it's good to know that we've passed that mark. Humans like very easy numbers to remember. It seems like.
How many preseason points has he scored, Dave? No, I'm just kidding. Along these lines, though, LeBron won Player of the Month today. I think the oldest player ever to do it. There's been a string of these oldest evers. There's really no signs of that slowing. Can you just kind of try to contextualize the last month he had on both sides of the ball for you guys?
Yeah, we wouldn't be in the position we're in without him playing at the level he's been playing at, and that's offensively and defensively. I think February 1st was the Knicks game, and since early December, leaving Miami, he's been the leader of our team by far, and an incredible teammate, and has given it on a nightly basis everything he can give, and he was much needed. That level of play was much needed in February with AD being out, and then waiting on Luka to get right, and then I go back to that back-to-back in Portland. It's kind of like one of those games and moments that you'll remember the rest of your coaching career. And it's a Thursday night game in the regular season, but I think you guys remember what I said, but don't want to say it again.
Never mind. I think I remember now. For however many weeks defensively, seems like there's been an uptick in when the opponents face drive and they get an advantage, the helper will switch onto that driver, and then you guys will kind of rotate from there, find new defensive assignments. How hard is that to pull off, and I guess what does that reflect in terms of the engagement level on that end of the floor?
Yeah, a lot of it just depends on where the ball goes and who we're rotating to or not rotating to. Tonight that's going to be really tested because they have one of the best paint touch guys in the league, and their team scores a ton over the last month, in the paint, and they also have some lasers on their team. So it's going to be challenging. But and I think sometimes when you can next or early veer, late veer, some of those rotations can look like we used to call it scrambles. You're scrambling. It can be pretty orchestrated to where it actually is not random to us. But again, a lot of that just depends on who the helper is helping off of.
JJ, you're wearing a sweatshirt with the LAFD crest on it. Some of your staff had thank you first responder shirts on out there. I guess being able to show that gratitude, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, again, I played here for 4 years, moving back here and just being a part of the LA community again has been awesome. And obviously there was a tragedy and a natural disaster that occurred, and so grateful for all the first responders, the fire department, for the work they always put in, but put in for those few days in January. And all was not lost because, their work helped save a lot of people's homes. And, it's an honor for myself and my family to represent the Lakers in the greater Los Angeles community.
Hey, JJ, when you were in New Orleans, how did you see Zion kind of manage the different ups and downs with just the injuries and also finding his way as a talented player but a young player? Yeah,
I think it's difficult for any player, particularly one with as much hype as him, to have an early injury and not even get to really be a part of opening night your rookie year because he was hurt in the preseason. I just remember vividly, those first 2-3 games, the excitement level that he had to play again. It's hard as an athlete when something you love gets taken away from you, and then just the excitement level that it brought to New Orleans and our team. And we were actually, that first year, we were playing really good basketball from mid-January on, and I think we had a chance, had the season not gotten cut short, to potentially get the 8th seed. So, he's a difference maker, and I think for him, dealing with as many injuries as he's had has been difficult. Says a lot that he's overcome them, that he continues to try to get back out there on the court, and every time he does, we see the result of that. He plays at a high level whenever he's in the game.
Coach, this is the third time this season the Lakers have been on a 6-game winning streak, but never broken through and gotten that 7th win. What's the key to keeping that momentum going tonight?
Yeah, again, we gotta do both tonight. We gotta guard the right guys on the 3-point line, and we gotta protect the paint. I think a big part of that is our ability to set our defense and sprint back. And Zion is a lot like Giannis, in terms of trying to build a wall to him. He's also a willing passer, and they have great shooters in McCollum and Murphy and Hawkins. So it's going to be a challenging night on the defensive end, and hopefully we can execute offensively.
Just wondering from the film and watching the games for you, like when Luka gets blitzed, what are some of the key things about what you want the other four guys to do and the spacing, and how's that coming along?
There's one human being, one position on the floor that is always open, and hopefully we hit it tonight. I'll just say that.
Hi, JJ. Alejandra with NHK Japan News. Any updates at all on how Rui's been feeling?
He's feeling good, and again, he'll be reassessed. I think a week would be in 2 days. All right. Thank you.
JJ, and just in trying to avoid being repetitive to like the previous wins that have had somewhat of a similar structure, what's the thing that stood out to you about tonight?
Every game is different, even if the other team scores between 99 and 102. Like every game is different. They're all different. They all present their own problems. Like I said pregame, Zion obviously presents a lot of problems, and we made adjustments. He was moving tonight. He was moving tonight. I thought a big thing for us as we have gone through this season is, as of late, game plans have worked. So there's been no consternation. Tonight, we made 3 different adjustments on him. Didn't work. He was that good tonight. We didn't get discouraged. It didn't allow us to get frustrated offensively. It didn't take us out of our execution. We stayed very connected, even with some turnovers. I just thought our approach to the game was really good tonight.
I'm sure your analytics crew has certain numbers on it, but like the types of shots that Luka was creating, it seemed like it was either dunks, layups, or wide open threes. Did you get that sense, and then how does that make a team play?
Yeah, I mean, they tried a bunch of different coverages on him. Blitz, the red, the drop. He solved every riddle. And again, we're excited about the process when we get good shots, and I thought we were able to generate a lot of good shots tonight, and he was at the forefront of that. I thought Braun was fantastic. Jackson, again, organization, his spacing, being disciplined. When we were setting ball screens with him, I thought other than 2 possessions in the first half, we had the right spacing. When we weren't setting ball screens with him, he was in the dunker, and he was opposite the ball, and that led to some dunks. Jackson played really well tonight. And then off the bench, I mean, we get contributions from Shake, 2 big threes in the first half. I thought Vando's energy in the third quarter defensively really helped us stretch the game open. Gabe as well in that third quarter defensively was really good, and then Dalton hit some shots for us. So overall, just a good team win for us.
JJ, part of your task this year beyond just coaching the team has been establishing a program and core values and tenets. Where does the Luka and Vando sticking up for Dalton Connects kind of fit within what you're trying to establish?
It fits right in with it. I think 2 of those values that we emphasize are trust and respect, and I think having your teammates back builds trust, and showing a level of respect to your teammate when they're down and going in there and getting in the scrum is great. I think too, the Dalton, the LeBron dunk, and then LeBron trying the alley-oop back to him. I laughed. It was one of the few turnovers I think all season that I've laughed on. But I like the intent.
JJ, Mike asked you about the shot quality earlier. I think 31 of your first 42 or 43 field goal attempts for threes. You guys finished with the season high 52. We've asked about the 3-point volume or increased 3-point volume. Just what did you make of it tonight? And I guess how are you seeing these threes come? Are they the kind of threes you want to see this team take?
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, we knew that we were going to be able to take a ton of threes. Since Zion got back, they're 30th in three-point attempt rate. They really looked to pack the paint. We knew they were going to mix things up with Bron and Luka. Again, we felt like if we were disciplined with our spacing and made the right passes, we were going to, our code word is launch. We felt like we were going to launch tonight, and we did.
A little bit of a two-part question, but they're related. It seemed like as the game wore on, you could see like little things where guys are getting more comfortable playing with Luka. Like Trey had a Gortat screen. There, last game it was Vando on a cut on the baseline for a lob, and kind of the way to play off of Luka for some of the role guys. I'm curious what you've seen with that, and then along those lines, at a bigger scale, the way LeBron has been able to pick his spots, sort of playing off Luka. What have you thought of that?
I think with LeBron, it's big time of him just to kind of hand over a little bit of the ball control. And we weren't having LeBron bring it up a ton, but even in the half court, just like playing off ball and being comfortable with that, I think is huge. And obviously he's still scoring at a very high level. We're going to get him the ball when Luka's not in the game. We're going to have him as the primary guy when Luka's not in the game. But being shot ready, all that stuff, I think has been fantastic. And for the other guys, there's a non-cadence to the way Luka plays, if that makes sense. A lot of offensive players have pre-programmed reads. He just does shit that you're like, what? Why did you do that? There was a blitz against our bench in the second half. Could have made one read, could have made another read, made the read that I would have picked last, and we ended up getting a layup on it. Like our guys are starting to get into a groove and a rhythm, even with the non-cadence of how he plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Luka, of the 15 assists, several of them were either for wide open dunks or wide open layups or completely wide open threes. I know that you're just kind of playing the game, but how cognizant are you of trying to make the look that much easier, of sort of trying to create the space and knowing the percentages of it and how much of it is just natural flow of the game?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, like you said, reading the game and natural. I've been playing against blitzers a long time, so I kind of know what to expect, and it's different teams, Some teams, the low man is early, some teams not. Some teams give corners, some teams not. So just going through scouting and then pick up them.
These things the games have obviously been going pretty well. The win streak continues and the baskets are coming. What are the things that you're still looking towards as to kind of just even get better, kind of to reach the ceiling that you're trying to get to?
A lot. I think I gotta drive more. I'm still getting that rhythm. But at the end of the day, it's about winning games, and we're doing that now, and we can't relax at all.
Luka, you fed LeBron for the three that allowed him to get over 50,000 points. Have you thought about the opportunity here, not just to play winning basketball with this team, but to be a part of history, and certainly LeBron's history as you guys team up together?
Yeah, it's amazing. Watching him do this stuff at this age, it's just unbelievable. Like 50K points, I can't even explain how insane that is. And he might get to 70K, you never know.
Luka, JJ said that there's like a non-cadence to the way you play, right? Like with a lot of guys, there's a really quick rhythm, but you're a little less conventional in that way. Have you seen your teammates start to get more comfortable? I saw a big smile on your face in the last game when Vando had like a baseline cut and you found him for a lob. Today, kind of that same look when Trey set the Gortat screen for you. Are you starting to see kind of these moments where guys are adjusting to the way that you play?
Yeah, I think it's getting better and better. You saw the Gortat screen. I told him last game, if you do that, it's going to be open layup for me. So he was unselfish and did that. Also, Vando talk about cutting the baseline. And it's just, I mean, it's about talking about things, you know, what things I like, what things they like, and what's gonna make it easier to win.
JJ's talked about it. I'll ask you about it. The blackout moments. You had moments where you were, I think, skipping after making a few threes early in the first quarter. More joy than the screaming that I guess you used to do. What are those moments like for you? As you know, you've told us you're making way back. What are those moments like for you where you were able to get that rhythm, you know, get the feel for the game back with each passing game?
I mean, it's great moments. You know, I obviously got to work on my celebration because when I hit, I don't know what to do. I just start skipping. I don't know. But those moments, you know, those are the greatest moments I can feel in basketball. And just you feel good, and there's nothing better than that.
Luka, you know, Jackson had 19 points. A lot of them came off lobs from you. Just kind of what do you make of his play recently, especially with him kind of being a lob threat along that baseline there?
Yeah, it's good. You see at the first couple games, you know, we still had to get the feel for each other, you know, where he's going to be, and I think that's getting better. And he's really good at reading those situations. You know, if the guy behind me, when he says the screen goes over, he slips that, and he's fast for a center, so he gets the open looks.
Luka, you had 17 in the first quarter, most you've had this season in in any quarter. But my question is, off the court stuff, as you get comfortable with the city, with your home environment, with your calf healing, how does that translate, that comfortability off the court, translate to what you're able to do on the court here with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, off court for me is not as important, but it's close. You know, if things are good off court, then you proceed to be great on court. You don't have things to think about. You know, I'm just getting to know the city. I gotta say, traffic's crazy, but other than that, it's amazing.
Luka, what's one thing that you've learned about LeBron since you've joined the team that you didn't maybe know about him, whether it's on or off the court as a teammate?
Nothing new, honestly. I knew the way he works, the way he takes care of his body. That's why he's playing now at this level. So I don't think nothing new, but just overall being next to him and experience that situation is I would say, a learning process for me.
Thanks, Luka.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jared, first of all, just it still hasn't been that long since you've been back, just considering how much time, but it does seem like you're, you know, building closer and closer every game like yourself. How close do you feel physically and just kind of as the basketball is building as well?
Yeah, I feel like each game I'm getting better and better. As far as like my movements, getting more comfortable, finding my spots. I feel like I'm still not all the way there yet, but I've been working towards, you know, the right direction. So it's getting there day by day.
You know, the physicality is always there with you. And what has it been like having some guys kind of coming along with you, and just whether it's Finney Smith and Vincent and now Trey Jemison and Goodwin, like, do you feel like that's become kind of part of this identity, and how much are you enjoying that?
I love it. I mean, that's the culture we trying to set, man. You know, having multiple dogs, multiple gritty guys that's going to go out there, put their body on the line, fight, play hard, you know, defend and do all the dirty work. So, I mean, having guys like, you know, Trey by me, Doe, and even Gabe, you know, having that from that second unit coming in and just being dogs.
Yo, Vando, got to start calling you Corner Doe now because you shoot that corner three. But been with you for a long time. Every summer, shooting that corner three, hearing people come in the gym like, yo, why is Vando shooting a corner three all the time, like shooting the threes? But can you explain to people how it is, first off, playing a role, getting the ability to play first, establishing that role, mastering that, then moving on to the corner three and just continue to work at something, not giving up, and then till you finally able to get it down and start really knocking it down, showcase to people what you can do.
Yeah, I say it's been a work in progress for a while now. You know, just continue to develop it, add stuff to my game. I feel like playing with two greats like Luka and Braun is going to be a lot of opportunity for me in that corner. So just being ready, shot ready, and being able to capitalize and make the defense honest. And I feel like I'm capable of doing that. You know, I've had some great stretches where I was, you know, making shots, but, due to injuries, kind of like you're starting back over from square one. So now just being able to, now I know where my shots are coming from, so being able to capitalize and just be ready. With those two guys, you always got to be shot ready, two great passes. So, yeah, just continue to trust the process and trust the work. I think that was the biggest thing. I put a lot of work into it, and now it's time to, just trust it and just, let it fly.
When we spoke with JJ, he mentioned that Luka can play at a different rhythm and cadence than most players. He found you on a cut. You cut off of, and he assisted you on the shot. What's it been like learning how to play off of Luka? Obviously, you've played with other great players before, but what's it been like, the process of learning how to play off of him?
It's been great. Like I said, you got to be shot ready at all times. Have your hands ready, no matter where you are on the floor. Like, he done made some crazy passes, whether it's cross court, some no-look oops or whatever. So just preaching to guys to have their hands ready and just be ready to, make a play or shoot the ball or finish, whatever the case may be. Because, like I said, we feeding off of him. We start getting more integrated with him and get more chemistry with him. And, as he gets into his zone, and he started making shots, he's going to start, obviously seeing a lot of traps and a lot of doubles and stuff like that. So guys just be ready to play off of him and give him outlets and, just be ready to shoot.
Hey, Vando. I'm not sure if you've seen, but you, Gabe, and Dorian have a new nickname.
I just seen it. They just showed me.
Vincent Vando, and I feel like it means that that your defense is a work of art, I guess you could say, and just wondering if you could speak to the nickname and just the standard you've set for the team.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's funny. Gabe, my locker mate, he just showed it to me, so I thought it was pretty dope. They had a little pain behind it, too. So, yeah, I mean, that's our job. That's what we come in and do, man. We come in and play hard, get extra possessions, do all the dirty work, man. And we've been setting that tone on that end for quite some time now. So, amongst each other, when before the game starts, obviously the starters started, we bench mob, we have a pep talk with each other. And, that's our job to come in and set the tone and be the defensive guys and do the dirty work. And so we've been doing a great job. But shout out to them guys, man. Gabe, Doe, Trey, that whole second unit, and even DK stepping up. So it was a great team effort.
Can you talk about the energy that you guys bring off the bench? Trey had a situation where, he kind of pushed the guy and the team turned up. How important is it to have guys like that on the team?
Man, it's super important, man. I know Trey, being a young player, I told him that's a big role for him. Being our enforcer, being our big guy, bringing that energy every single night. That's how you're going to make a statement in this league, or at least to start. And then obviously once he continues to develop, he can develop other stuff for his game. But, that's what we need him to do on this team. And he's been bringing that every night, being that enforcer, being that, whether it's, setting hard screens or getting rebounds, being physical, or just not letting anybody, try one of us or bully us in a sense. So just having that toughness, that edge, and us being the aggressor to start instead of, waiting for them to attack us. So, shout out to Trey.
You've been on a few different iterations of this team, kind of evolving identities, I guess. This specific iteration of this team is cooking. You guys are on a roll. And it feels like, at least from the outside looking in, like there's just something special about the alchemy that's happening right now. Like, what would you say makes this group special? Like, what are you seeing from your point of view?
I see that we're not even at our peak yet, and the fact that we still managing to figure it out each and every game, we're coming together and just grinding out wins, and we're not even at our peak. Obviously Luka, new addition, still trying to adapt to him, and he's still getting more comfortable. And guys are playing, new roles or different roles, and but we just getting it done. Everybody buying into the role that they, are assigned right now, and we kind of just all on the string. So for us to be putting out this type of product right now, and we're not even, at our peak or fully connected, I would say. That's just a testament to, to guys just buying in. We all got one common goal, and everybody's just locked in right now.
Jared, you mentioned kind of how the corner shot's been a work in progress for a little while. When you have foot surgeries and a foot injury, you're pretty limited in what you can do on a basketball court. How much shooting, and spot shooting, have you been doing for the last 15 months? And did that kind of, if a lot of shooting is confidence, did all that rep work, do you feel it kind of paying off?
For sure. Like I said, I did a lot of, shooting whether it was, obviously spot shots and just form shooting and, kind of retooling some things. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I could do during the recovery process. So I feel like I did put a lot of work in. I think, half of it is just trusting the work you put in. I could shoot 1 million shots, corner shots every day, but if you don't trust it when you get into the, into those positions, then it really don't matter. So that was most of it, just trusting it and just, being shot ready and just letting it fly. And, the results going to be the results.
Thanks, Fernando.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.